So this video will be about a matchup between 3-time Mr. Olympia Frank Zane and the 2017 Mr. Olympia Classic Physique runner-up Chris Bumstead. Chris is obviously taller and heavier, but this doesn't mean that Frank doesn't have a chance beating the bigger competitor, as the smaller Brian Ansley defeated Chris and he's even shorter than Frank Zane and has the same weight. Frank was known for having perfect proportions. He didn't focus on size and growing big as much as focusing on symmetry and overall aesthetics, and the result was one of the best lightweight bodies in bodybuilding history. Chris is also known for having wide shoulders, chest, lats, and small waist. He would definitely win the size and the conditioning in his legs, but the overall symmetry and proportion go to Frank. Frank's front lat spread pictures are scarce, and this is the only one I've found clear enough to give us an idea about how he looked like in this pose. I'm sure he was more conditioned and ripped on the Olympia stage, but either way, Chris still has the wider lats. His lats look like wings, and his small waist adds to the impressive V-taper. Frank didn't use to hit the side chest the way most of bodybuilders do. This picture shows Frank hitting the side chest or hitting the closest to the side chest pose. You can see the high level of conditioning and definition he had in his chest, shoulders, arms, and ripped midsection. Chris, on the other hand, hits a great pose. He also shows a great level of conditioning, but with more size added to the muscular departments. The back shots show how impressive Frank's back was in his prime. He was shredded to the bone with all the details he managed to show in his shoulders, traps, and lats. His arms were also highly detailed and ripped. He was truly ahead of his time from the back. Another back shot shows the size Chris has over Frank, but the size doesn't waste the perfect proportions of Frank's physique. Chris' legs are more huge and his hamstrings are way more developed than those of Frank. Frank Zane was one of those who used to hit the stomach vacuum pose, and Chris also managed to hit this pose as well, although he is more huge and packs more muscles than Frank did. It's true that Chris wins the size and the conditioning in his legs, but I like the aesthetics and the proportions presented by Frank. He simply looks like a sculpture. So Frank Zane was ahead of his time when it comes to his amazing aesthetics and overall proportions. I think he would have a great chance competing at the classic physique nowadays, with more huge and conditioned legs. Chris, on the other hand, has a larger frame, and I don't see why some people keep criticizing him for having powerful legs. He's trying to present the perfect example of being aesthetic and huge at the same time. And there is nothing wrong with that. You are attacking heavyweight bodybuilders for having nasty bubble guts. And now you're criticizing Chris for having what you call oversized legs. You just want to criticize for the sake of criticizing. So let me know what you think about this matchup. Don't forget to subscribe, share, and like. Thanks for watching, and have a nice one.